Back to you, John and Leanne.
Many people have bucket lists, and Sheri McDonald has written a book about 100 things you should do in Canada before you die. And here she's joining us right now to talk about it.
When I die, I won't know why.
Okay, so Sheri, why did you write this book?
I have been blogging and travel writing for almost a decade. And a friend of mine, Deb Thompson, wrote a book called The 100 Things to Do in Milwaukee Before You Die. And
There's 100 things to do in Milwaukee.
There are. And
so that was like one city, and you did take on a whole country.
I got to do the whole country. So I asked her about her publisher, and she pointed me in his direction, and I looked it up, and that's what they do. All their books are 100 things to do in before you die. And they had nothing in Canada. Everything was U.S., and so I shot him an email and said, you know, you don't have anything Canadian going on here. And he said they'd been thinking about it, and we talked about different cities. I tried to do Perth County, but it wasn't happening. So they like the bigger cities and provinces. So eventually we landed on the whole country, which was pretty fun for me. I feel like I learned so much about my own country over the last year.
We wish we had the book to show you, but it's not published yet.
It is not out yet. I just got it back from the publisher to make a few changes, and then it's going back to be printed.
So did you have to test drive each one of these things to do? Did you go to 100 of them?
I wish I did, but no, I have not. I was very specific in some of the things. So, like, do the edge walk at the CN Tower. So, obviously, I've been to the CN Tower lots of times, but I have not yet done the edge walk. I do intend to do most things on the list over time. I've wanted to do the edge walk since it came out. So.
Does everybody know what the edge walk is at the CN Tower?
How many people have done it? Has anybody done it? Oh, good. I haven't. I couldn't take it. I'd faint.
Oh, really? No, I think it looks fun.
So what were the criteria of how you decided things?
It was hard. So first I made a list of things that I had done that I would think everybody should do before they die, and that was over 100. But I didn't want it to be a completely biased book, so obviously I started doing my research and talking to other travel writers and other travelers. Travel bloggers, and got a lot of suggestions, had a list that was about 200 long, and over time weaned it down. The publisher obviously had input on that, so that helped some. When it came down, obviously I wanted to represent my hometown and my two hometowns, because I'm from Stratford, but I've been here for 23 years, and so I took things that I knew really represented each place that spoke to the area I was talking about. So whether it was Indigenous or it was stone and quarries or whatever, I tried to really focus on that and look for longevity, things that have been there a long time and will continue to be there for a long time for people reading the book.
So what'd you pick for St. Mary's? Can we guess? What did you pick for St. Mary's?
Front porch show.
That's in the next book.
For St. Mary's, I narrowed it down to 3, the Baseball Hall of Fame, the Quarry, and the Westover Inn, because I have a bunch of categories for the book, and they all fell into different ones. And I did end up going with the Quarry, basically because it really does represent our town, and it's been around the longest. And it was the thing I found the easiest to write about. If we're going to be completely honest, it was easy to come up with the words for that one.
Was it easy to come up with all the places? Like, how did you kind of knock things out? You said 200, and then you had to knock things out.
Well, I got a lot of input from people, and some things I actually started writing about or did write about and then realized they weren't right as I was writing them. Like, I can't remember what it was called, but there was a place in Upper Saskatchewan that I thought would be great to write about, but as I was writing it, I realized it was nearly impossible to get to. So I took it out of the book because I didn't want it to be things that only, the super fit and adventurous could get to.
So what are some of the more unusual things to do in Canada?
There's getting screeched in Newfoundland. So I don't know if you've
How many people have been screeched in Newfoundland? Ooh.
Me.
How many people have been screeched
I thought
in
I was
St.
going to
Mary's?
vomit.
So well, you might be able to speak to that better than me because I haven't actually done it.
People tell you like you will want to vomit, and I was like, oh God, no, not me, I'm not going to. But there was about as many of you as was getting screeched in front of, and I almost lost my lunch. It was really awful.
Did you kiss the cod?
Yeah, well, that's part of what makes you want to.
Is that the best part of it?
Yeah, so if you don't know what it is, in Newfoundland, they put you up on a stage, announce you inside a pub, and you drink a really strong shot of alcohol, and you kiss a cod, and you have to recite something. It's in my book, but I don't remember the recital exactly.
And people laugh at you.
Yes. And then you're declared a Newfoundlander. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if you had 3 things to do, what would they be in Canada? Top 3.
Everyone's top 3 is going to be different, but mine, I've done the Rocky Mountaineer, and I would say that was a highlight of my life, so I would say that one for sure. Digging for dinosaur bones in Alberta is another one that I have done, and it was a real highlight. That I haven't done, I would really like to kayak with orcas, and I'd really like to go to Churchill and see the polar bears, both of which are in the book.
Right, fantastic.
Wow, cool.
Okay, I'll give you a province. You tell me what's good to see. British Columbia.
Oh, you're throwing me off. That wasn't on the list, John. British Columbia.
Oh, she's improvising now.
I would love to go storm watching in Ucluelet, which is on the coast. It's a big thing there. They get huge waves, tidal waves, and people go there just for the storms in the early winter.
Okay, what's your favorite province?
Oh, okay, I'm just going to say Newfoundland because it's amazing.
Okay,
yeah.
That one I do have a note for, and I have to look it up. Well, Fogo Island, obviously, is a big one in Newfoundland. But there's an ancient Viking village in Newfoundland that I would like to go to. And one of my kids is a huge history buff, and so that's something that might be
Lanso Meadows.
Yes.
Which is not easy to get to either.
Okay.
That's like a 9-hour drive.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
You know that as soon as you get the book out, people are going to say, you didn't put in this, like the Front Porch Show. You think it might just lead to a second book?
I don't believe that they do a second book on the same location, but like I said, there's provinces, there's cities. They did shoot down Perth County, but self-publishing is always an option there, right?
And of course, in the second book, you will definitely put on being a guest on the Front Porch Show.
Absolutely.
Right.
We'll be there.
Okay. Good. I'm great. So before you leave, tell us again when the book will be out and where you can get it.
It will be out October 15th. I will have it on my websites for pre-orders soon. We're still negotiating prices, so I can't do pre-orders quite yet. But and other than that, the publisher takes care of everything, and they have not yet told me which retail outlets are going to have it. So I feel bad I can't tell you that today.
It's a big secret, folks. We will tell you when it comes out and where it comes out. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for coming in, and we look forward to seeing the book.
Thank you, Sheri.